Very good morning to our RANsquawk listeners. Hope you all had a great evening. In terms of what we've seen so far here in the European session, equities did originally open higher and lower fixed income futures. This came after European participants reacted to that late session article that we saw in the US from the FT, which speculated that potentially a bazooka could be announced at the EU summit at the latter stages of this week, with potentially two of the European bailout funds working beside each other. As such, then, financials were the early outperformers. However, we have seen a bit of a turnaround in the market, some slight softening in the financials off the top spots, and equity markets have drifted, impaired much of the initial gains coming after. One thing in particular was the amount that Italian banks are borrowing from the ECB. That has shot up as of the end of November from the end of October readings. And elsewhere, we've seen a relative move into fixed income, with Bund futures spiking higher. Came predominantly led by the Bobble future after an auction of 5-year debt coming out of the German central bank. Had a very strong cover ratio, much higher than the previous cover and average of the last 3 auctions. The retention rate around 18% alleviated a lot of fears given the extremely high retention we saw on that technically uncovered Bund auction just a few weeks ago, and also set aside any fears over the market's appetite for German debt given the S&P announcement and put them on credit watch negative at the beginning of the week. That was the real main story. Also, as well, in terms of the short end, we've seen Euro-dollar futures spike higher. This has come as the latest 7-day and 3-month dollar operations out of the ECB showed a particularly high 3-month amount. The allotted amount of around 50 billion was at the top end of analysts' expectations. Moving forward then, in terms of the rest of the session, pretty quiet in terms of US economic data. However, Timothy Geithner is meeting with Sarkozy today, so we'll continue to monitor for any developments there. Also of note, that FT article has been somewhat denied by the German finance minister, who has come on the wires and said it's very unlikely that the EFSF and the ESM will be run simultaneously. That concludes the opening wrap for this morning. Hope you have a great trading day.